Hey, lights on, cameras, lock, let's roll. Racetrack king, out of control. Speed so clean and the crowd go wild. John Candy live, we bring that style. We race, no break, that's right. John Candy live, keep the finish line bright. Racing on speed, John Candy live.
Welcome, everybody, back to John Candy Live, man. This is John Candy Live podcast, I believe, number 29, 28, 29, somewhere in there. We got Jimmy Ray in the house. Jimmy Ray, he is running the ones and twos over at Finish Line RC, man. Welcome into the studio.
Thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. First trip down here after taking over at Finish Line over the last year and a half or so, but pleasure to meet you. Been watching your podcast and all your shows. This is fantastic. The studio is great. Can't wait to talk about RC.
Yeah, man, it's getting that time of the year, man. The big car stuff is starting to slow down. Now we're having more time. I'm having more time myself to get into the RC stuff, and it's a great way to kick off that kind of transition season. We've got 8 more races at Santa Maria, Bakersfield. I'm not doing Bakersfield anymore, but they only have 4 more races, so the racing's starting to tone down a little bit here in town, and but we're ready to rock and roll for some RC stuff.
That's perfect time for us because that summer heat is gonna wear off eventually in a couple of months, and there are action-packed races all fall here, not just at Finish Line, but Exeter and all the other tracks that we run here. But we're trying to give everyone an eye-opening view of on-road racing here, because we know that Dirt Oval and Dirt Off-Road's king in Bakersfield, but don't forget north on Merle Hager Drive, we've got on-road going over at David Mayhew's place, over at Finish Line Signs and Finish Line RC Speedway, and it's absolute blast. Absolutely love that place. For me, it's like going to Disneyland every weekend. Facility's fantastic, so I'm honored to kind of take this on and take it to the next level.
Yeah, Mayhew does nothing short of fantastic. When he had the carpet track indoors, when he had it on 21st and V downtown, being an oval guy myself, that's back when I was racing.
Yep.
Got to race a couple of races down there. I mean, just top-notch facility. It's carpet indoor, but yeah, it's beautiful. Mayhew does a phenomenal job. So.
He is, yeah. You're locked in once you're in. We've got the surrounding fence, and a lot of places are open to the elements. We got nice walls to keep the dust down. And when the Worlds came in 2024, we'll talk about that in a bit. But the infrastructure, the whole facility had to be redone, and the scoring tower and the extra loop and all the things they did, we get the benefit of that because they put in a ton of time of work. And Ryan Doyle, especially, we'll talk about him as well, but really mentored me in this thing. So I definitely want to thank Ryan for all he did for all the years at Finish Line. Just you've done big events, but not just the race directing, but the power and every hiccup or thing that goes wrong when people walk through those gates. Just watching Ryan, it was like a symphony the way he would handle it. It was just impressive, and you basically just give up all your time for that weekend. You put on the best show you can for everybody. And again, my goal with my races, kind of like this, is everyone, when they leave, they want to come back to the next one, right? And if they do come back to the next one, bring somebody else with you. Bring a friend, bring a family next to you. We're growing. But if you have a handful leaving disgruntled, that's contagious. So you want to keep it positive for everybody for sure.
And that's tough to do. I mean, being racers, we're dealing with racers here. It's so hard to please. I mean, so hard to please your wife, your family, your kids, let alone racers, grumpy old race car drivers.
That's right.
I don't care if it's at an RC level, if it's at the big car level, whatever level it is. If you're dealing with racers, you're dealing with we'll just call them characters.
You could say egos, characters, whatever, but from everybody, different walk of life, right? Their walks of life. They spent all week, bunch of money, maybe not, but a bunch of time rebuilding that car and getting everything set. And then you go out on the track and it just falls apart some days, and that's just we kind of, we're their psychologists. We console them a little bit and tell them it's going to be okay. But it will be, right? It will pass because, again, it's just racing in the end. But it's as competitive as it can be up to a certain point. But when it goes wrong, we're good sports. We shake hands, We won't take it too personally, and we'll come back out next week, try again.
Yeah, so I mean, this is going to be a great thing. We'll get into like the specifics of the race and everything, but I get a chance to come do some off or on-road racing, not off-road. Turns lefts and rights. I'm not used to doing turns lefts and rights, so this is kind of a cool thing. So let's kind of talk about the track itself. So what is it? Is it how do you guys have like a run line? Because like at Bakersfield RC Raceway, it's like a 180-foot run line. So do you guys do it by run line? Do you guys do it by, or how long is the track? Is it just
So the track configurations, there's 11 different configurations at Finish Line. Right now we're running what's called the Worlds, which is probably, I don't know the simplest, but what it was really designed for. You have a long straightaway of about 100 feet, maybe a little bit more, and on the dimensions on that, but a sweeper, and then kind of an infield section. they're almost kind of like a roval. What you see, you have a nice kind of go around the outside, a little technical on the inside, but you still got to bring the high speed straights to the car. So from your modified touring cars to your Euro trucks or your Porsche Cup Tamiya cars, everybody's got to deal with the same track and the same lines. We do spray chemicals on the track. Let me get the exact name. We'll edit this in a minute. Hang on. LC7, lane choice 7 is what we run at Bakersfield and finish line. And that creates that extra grip that we're going to get on the cars that we need. You're not quite getting into carpet per se, but a lot more than no spray at all.
Right.
And the rubber buildup's going to create that nice groove. But the main thing folks are trying to do is to stay on that racing line. As soon as you get out in the dust, your tires get dirty. And, same thing on oval, right? You get out of the racing line. So that's pretty common in all racing. But it's almost qualifying is about more feels like brute speed. You're just trying to, there's no jumps in the way. No, there's hardly any traffic in the way because we're doing IFMAR qualifying, right? Staying out of each other's way. But then when you get to the main, it's a completely different story. 10 cars on a small track. I mean, relatively speaking, it's a large track compared to what we have at Exeter and other places, but it's fairly confined to 10 touring cars at the same time. You're negotiating traffic a lot more than you're breaking down brute speed. So do you have the racecraft to make good decisions at the right time, let alone just making the right setup changes? So that's a big impact there. A lot of times we'll do triple mains. I don't know if you guys do that in oval much, but we'll do the triple A mains where best 2 out of 3 falls pretty much, and what can happen, the guy can win 1 and 2 and then sit out the third race and the other guys race for the podium. That happens pretty commonly and with the AAA mains, which is pretty common in RC asphalt. When I raced off-road back in the day, that was never a thing. You get one shot at it, right? And if you start 10th and everybody has a rough start, you can benefit and do well. But with the 3 mains, you'll get that one, but you still got to do good in another, to move yourself up. So the AAA mains are pretty common. 5-minute races, almost exclusively 4-minute heats on qualifying if we have a large field. You have 3 different types of touring cars. You'll have a handful of the Tamiya cars like a Porsche Cup, Euro truck, kind of the plastic cars, but then you also have the pan cars. So 12 scale makes an entry out there. Pro 10, which is a 10th scale pan car, and then Formula 1 cars also has a pan chassis and a solid rear axle on that. So you have a variety out there. The Losi NASCAR is just making its debut out there. You guys have those out there too?
Things are showing up everywhere.
They're a blast. And we had them out in Exeter for the first time on Sunday, and a couple rookies are out there running it. We'd love to see them because you can just plug them in and go. And those are what we want to see more of. That's kind of why we're here as well, is to get the new racers out there. It's been a while since we had a new influx of drivers. We had Traxxas Slashes running out there like 2 years ago.
Wow.
We were going to put the jumps up there. They didn't quite get to them, but that was one of our biggest classes for a while, was those Slashes getting on 3 wheels, just like the trucks down at Long Beach, That was a blast. So that was a lot of fun seeing those. And they just, if it didn't sustain, it didn't stay, So then people moved up to the touring cars is what people tend to move up to.
Touring, so the touring cars.
Yeah.
X-Ray, I see X-Ray all over the place. So X-Ray is a big manufacturer. Who else is that?
Mugen, this is my boys at home will say this is Mugen country, but we'll see about that. But yeah, Mugen's really popular out here. Awesomatics as well, Schumacher. A Team Associated makes a TC8 they came out with a year and a half ago or so. So Associated jumped back in. I know there's others that I'm forgetting, but that should be about it to me.
Kind of like the big 5 right there.
Yokomo's still there. Yeah, so there's a handful out there, but mainly I think you're going to see about half of them Mugen in this area. They do a good job reaching out. X-Ray, obviously, there's plenty of those. And the Awesomatics, Schumacher's kind of in between, about a handful of those out in each run. And the huge differences between all of them. Like the end result, the wheelbase and all that's the same, but everything under the hood is completely different. So it's pretty neat to watch the different manufacturers. I'm all for the more the better.
Yeah.
I want to see, like when we look, there's 10 cars in the field. If I have 4 or 5 manufacturers, then you get something else to talk about, let's see, and some bragging rights. So that's a big part of it too. And different motor manufacturers. We have, like I'm a Reds Racing team driver. So we have Reds Racing Engines, who's really popular in nitro.
Okay.
And for the last few years, they've been dipping their feet into the on-road world. So they have speed controls and servos and motors and all that good stuff. So we're team driver there. But R1, Hobby Wing, those are you're going to see the most probably of Hobby Wing out there. It's probably the electronics probably keying out there on the track. Gens Ace batteries, Gens Ace Redline batteries are probably popular. Zombie has batteries as well. Team Powers, so they're pretty popular. And then tires, a whole other game is tires, same as in every facet, right?
Any type of racing. I mean, our dirt oval stuff for big cars, our dirt oval stuff for. I mean, that is the number one tuning tool
Yep.
is tires.
Nothing fixes a setup like a new set of tires. We were talking about that last night. Like, sorry, Steve, new tires, and
Yeah.
I'm going to get you by a couple tenths. But we'll do spec tires at our big weekend races. So
Okay.
so Sweep will come in and they'll handle tires, or Team Powers or Huddy or whatever. Whoever comes in will handle the tires, so everyone has the same tires. For the entire event, they'll be marked for race, and then you can get practice ones. Our club races were open tires. You can bring whatever, whatever pre-glued tires you can find. Also, you have, let me forget, you have front wheel drive, which is pretty big and on road right now.
So front wheel drive only.
Front wheel drive only. I don't have one to show you, but it basically looks like a touring car with no rear belt. And
Okay.
they love them. They do very well. Schumacher, Awesomatics, X-Ray, everybody comes out with them every year, and they're really competitive. Yeah, in Europe and everywhere here. And those really took off like last year.
Okay.
And I drove Jake's and a couple others, and it was a blast. You're a little more wide open. They run a fixed speedo and motor, so it's a little more spec racing. A little more like, and they're just like the taller sedan bodies, and you can just bang doors and you can just race. And
Awesome.
they have usually the best races of the day, because anywhere from 10th to 1st, they're all within a couple seconds at the most.
I think that's kind of the tough part about spec racing. Spec racing is always so like you have to have the flavor of the month battery, the flavor of the month the motor, this and that. I mean, the closer you can get it to same speed is like seems like it gets more expensive. But there's also that line too where they're so close, the racing's so good.
Yes, it is.
So it's a kind of a push pull thing for me when I was racing. I was just always mod. Just I don't want to mess with it. Throw mod at it. But I mean, there's a lot of racers that just can't run mod. I mean, it's just too expensive on tires, too expensive on if you hit something, you're buying parts.
Yep.
And that's not fun.
Yep.
So for somebody that wants to have that competitive nature of that spec racing, man, that's really where it can be a lot of fun because you're so close.
Yeah. A lot of guys really dig that. We have that conversation all the time. If a lot of guys really love the spec race, and I'm much more of mod. I'm looking to be the fastest car in the fastest class and do the fastest lap times. I said those exact words to Kim yesterday in Exeter, because and I don't blame guys for not wanting to jump into mod. Like, we'll have guys jump in that maybe not ready yet, and they'll smash some cars, and then they'll go back to stock and do quite well, and then maybe come back again. But I've been religiously running mod, and then this guy we're doing here with LMH is at a 13.5, so that's as close as we can get to mod without running mod. It's still blinky, but it's pretty quick for the size tracks we have. But get that 4.5, 5.5 turn mod car, and after the World Championships came through, watching the world's best, Bruno and Hagberg and Orlowski and all those guys. We watched them for a week at Exeter, and then a full week of the Worlds in Finish Line, and we're just the insane speed and control that those guys have. You want to do that someday. So that's where I'm like, stock motors are gone, batteries are gone. I just cheap battery pack, one motor, maybe two, and then just go, right, and work on driving and setup. And I love it. Couldn't agree with you more. I just absolutely love just grabbing a handful of that throttle, and it makes up for a lot of mistakes you might make early in the race, right?
Well, unfortunately, I mean, it can get you out of trouble, but it can get you in a lot more trouble a lot faster.
I can remember each big shunt I've had in mod, and it's always last lap of practice going for one more lap. And I remember just launching it across finish line, all the way across, bent chassis, shock, arm. It's just everything. And that happened once so far, but I tend to do what I can to not hit anything. That's the number one rule, because wrecks cost money, right?
Absolutely.
They help the business, but they hurt the driver.
So talk about buying parts and stuff. So where does a guy buy parts for pan car stuff?
You can go a number of places. So Pacific Coast Hobbies has jumped up quite a bit. Theo, I'm a big fan of Theo and PCH. So he stepped up and has become basically the go-to hobby shop for the track there at Finish Line. He's going to be at all of our big races with his big red tent. He's going to have all kinds of parts when things go bad. A lot of drivers, they bring their own parts, right? But sensor wires or just the weird stuff that goes out that you just don't really keep a spare of. Theo's got you covered. And in between those races, we're running every month, and so he's supplying me with tires and sauce for in case anybody showed up at the track without it. So Theo at PCH is really taking care of us. Huge fan of his and everything he's doing. I have not been to that shop yet, but it's like every video I see, it's got all the history. It's the biggest shop ever. Have you been over to his place over there? We're gonna have to make a field trip over there and check it out, because I hear that's the place. So Theo's a hell of a guy. So glad to have him on board. And you can get NASCARs there. We also have KM Motorsports. So KM is Kim Melgar, and he runs the Exeter RC Speedway.
Okay.
And that is 15 minutes behind my house. That's basically my backyard. We can just go out there and run laps anytime. And if you've ever seen it online or not, it's in the middle of an orange orchard out at his father-in-law's property, built the track, very similar. Finish line and Exeter are very similar.
Okay.
Surface, layout, and we work together to make sure we don't overlap races and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So shout out to the boys out in Exeter. It's always fun with Steve and you got to have a nickname out there, apparently. Lurch, Antoine, and Slick, and the boys out there. So you got to have a nickname to run out.
But Italians out there, what do we got?
It's almost like the Reds Racing Arena. It's like the Hoodie Arena, but for Reds. We're all teammates out there, and it's just a blast. So we get, a dozen to 20 guys per week, whether it's a practice session or a race, and it's so much fun. But I always work with Kim. I hosted my first Valley Championships at his track last year. And now I'm bringing that one to Finish Line this year, and that's probably a good segue for you're jumping on board with our Valley On-Road Championships on Sunday, October 25th.
Yes.
Big John Candy's going to be in the booth at Finish Line for the first time up there, and if they built that whole booth for the world. So Notch Johnson, I call him the godfather of RC, who kind of brought me into this broadcasting, announcing stuff. He was up there first doing the worlds, and once I saw that, I got to check that out. And hopped in 2025 announcing up there. But it's the perfect view, no better view to watch a race from there because you can see all the way to the far corner. You can see everything right in front of you with no obstruction. So you're going to love it. It's a great spot to watch.
Yeah, we're definitely have to go down there and we're going to have to map out everything because I need to get there definitely before the 25th and really map it out and see where we're going to put the cameras and put the this and that. Because I take this whole thing.
Do you?
So
okay.
This thing comes with me. This is my mobile switching station, everything. So
nice.
This comes with me. We'll get it up there somehow, some way. We got enough brute power. We can.
Oh yeah.
We'll get a crane if we need to.
Yeah, I put my pit table up there and pitted from the booth, so I can get a 4x2 table up there, and I pitted my car up there and everything. So we got room for.
We got plenty.
Yeah, that'll be great. We just put a new roof on it, so that should help you in the shade, give you some more shade up there. So yeah, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's exciting, man. I'm super excited to be able to go out there, announce it for one because that's going to be cool. I'm gonna enjoy that.
You're gonna learn a lot.
But yeah, gonna learn a lot about this style of car, the style of racing, and a lot of the guys race oval and race off road and race dirt oval and on road, and they kind of do it all. So like Sinclair, I know does it all. Yep. Well, that's the one I can come off the top of my head just because I know he does everything. But so I mean, there's gonna be some familiar faces, but I'm also gonna see some new people. So that's gonna be cool too. But it's gonna be fun, and then setting up cameras. Where's gonna be the best speed shot? Where's gonna be the best action? And then where my man camera guy is gonna be, and then PTZ cameras. See if it's gonna be able to keep up with them or not. So one of these cameras is a kind of an auto tracking camera where I can put it on there and it'll AI auto track it, so it's going to be awesome.
Don't tease me, man. This sounds way too good to be true. We had those world championships there, and we had Notch announcing from the booth. But we also had Scotty Ernst and someone else announcing from inside with all of their cameras everywhere. We have tons of light poles. We got plenty of space for you to put your stuff up. So that'll be fantastic. Heck yeah.
Super exciting. So
yeah, come on out.
We're going to have to check that out. So when is your guys' next club race out there?
We're going to be out there Saturday and Sunday. So this Saturday on the 22nd, what we're doing is a monthly session where instead of going down there every 2 weeks, because I'm an hour north in Visalia.
Yeah.
So, and most folks are from a distance. A handful of guys are right in Bakersfield, but majority of our crowd comes from over an hour away. So what we're doing is we're going once a month. So on Saturday, we get there bright and early, prep the track, practice all day. For the first time here, we're going to close it down when it's real hot, and then we're going to fire it up under the lights and let people practice at night because we have really good lighting there. We just haven't used them in a couple of years. And you have a lot of guys going to the World Championships over in Thailand and then going to the Nationals in Florida, and they want to simulate the most grip they can get. So if we coat the track and we let it get dark and it's still warm, they're going to have like carpet-like grip so they can practice, and that'll be good for them because we want our local guys to do well at the Worlds, and we had our World Championships here, but now we're sending it over to Thailand. So Jacob Cruz is our junior world champion. He made the A main at the Worlds here in Bakersfield. One of the most amazing things I've ever seen. The ovation that kid got. He's he's been doing it since he was a tot. I don't know if you're familiar with the name Jacob.
Yep.
And his dad Mark and their mom, just a wonderful family, and we always root for them. So again, they're heading over there, so we want to give them all the opportunity they can to practice and prepare and represent our country over there. So it's going to be fantastic.
Is he the only one that you know of from kind of this region that's going to make that trip over there?
I heard a couple rumors of a couple guys going, but they didn't say for sure.
Okay.
A couple guys that raced at the Worlds here are going, but they didn't say for sure. So, but I know there's just a couple, but not a lot. Like when it was here, we were able to ended up winning a regional qualifier where there wasn't a whole lot of folks and became eligible and then got in. And then it turns out they ended up opening up a few more seats because they could take some more room. And so we hopped in and ran the Worlds. Your original question was where we racing this weekend, but if I start talking about the Worlds, that's a whole other story. But
so let's just finish off on this weekend. So this weekend,
this weekend is Saturday practice all day and Saturday night. Come on out, $20 anytime, practice all day. It's fine. We got power. We've got tables. We're not putting up the huge canopies, so bring cover. But we do have enough canopies to cover for 50 people when it does come. We have the leftover ones for the Worlds. And then Sunday, we'll be club racing. The track will open at 6:30. Track should be ready by 7:30, and we want to race early because it's going to be about 95 degrees, 98. Yep. So what we do is we try and start at 9:30 and get everybody on the road by 2:30. That way, before it gets too hot.
Oh, wow. So you guys truck right through. So what is your so is it 4-minute heats, 3-minute heats?
We're doing 5-minute heats, but we'll probably just do 2 qualifiers and probably double mains. We tried that last time.
Okay.
First time we done double mains where you run 2 and then it just takes your best one of the 2 as the tiebreaker.
Okay.
That's a little different, but I like to give guys 4 rounds, right? I think 4 rounds, you get your money's worth. We're also trying to get out fast. So either 3 rounds of qualifying and 1 main or 1 qualifier, 3 mains, but we're going to go 4 rounds, about an hour per round.
Okay.
We usually have 7 heats, 8 heats, something like that.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask,
7 classes.
So you guys have about 7 heats and 7 classes?
Well, we probably it really depends on weather, to be honest with you. My last entire year I've either had to deal with fog or rain, the worst fog ever, and that big pile up on 99. We were racing that day. You know, it's like, so we've had a lot of things holding us up, but I would think, 7 or 8 classes full, maybe 1 or 2 of them with 2 heats.
Okay.
So we're looking at anywhere about 30 guys, 50 entries at the most for a club race. It's usually around 20
okay.
40, something like that.
Yeah, so that is easy street.
It's all you need, right?
Yeah.
I just did my first big one of 100 entries and 190 entries, 100 drivers. And that was the first time I've been up in the booth that long. And it doesn't seem like that long till it's over, but you're like, man, we did 280 heats or something nonsense over 4 days or whatever. Like, that's absurd. And I never ran out of things to say. So, but that's a whole other story.
It's unreal. Yeah. Cause I mean, just to touch on what Bakersfield RC does, like our Dirt Oval weekly shows, we touch 100 entries every week.
That's crazy.
And we're there, we start at 7 p.m. We're not done till, just depending on how well we do, main start around 10 o'clock. We're out of there at 1.
Okay. And you guys have lots more classes, right?
We typically have about 18 heats, 15 to 18 heats.
And you're doing 6 cars a heat or max?
8 cars.
8 car. Okay. So
yeah. So we'll get up to 8 cars, but we have, sorry guys, too many classes.
Yeah. Well, there were 5 touring car classes when I got here. Like there's 5 for the same car. Like we're going to do down to 3. Yeah. That's where we're at. I agree 100%. We have a few too many classes. Yeah.
But I mean, you don't want to turn anybody away. You don't want to turn away the guy that that bought he bought the truck, or it's not popular truck, or people were on the fence in the beginning with a certain class. We had the midget class. They were like, I don't know if we're going to do this, if it's going to take off, this and that. It ends up being one of the biggest classes we have. But I mean, it's so hard because if a guy buys something and then you're like, well, we're not racing that, and they're like, well, shoot, I like the way that looked, and that's the only car I wanted to buy, and so you don't want to turn him away.
He's got to convince 2 or 3 buddies to get it and then make a class. That's a lot of work for him where I just thought I could just show up and drive. Yeah, you're right. So that's difficult. You have a bunch of 3-car classes. You end up out there all night. So we're trying to juggle that too with big races. We want to allow the 12 scale and the Pro 10s and all that. And when there's only like 3 or 4 registered, they get to run too. And that's the way it goes. But you're right. Yeah, we have a few. I like the variety of cars, but I guess my point was too many classes of the same car, which further dilutes the thing. But that if you consolidate those, then that allows for more of those oddball cars. No offense to less popular cars to jump in there, because like the 12 scale, if you get to see them, like if we have, I don't know if we'll have it some at that race, but not before then. But they're on foams and they absolutely haul ass. I mean, they're just instantly responsive, and then they're having these great battles all race long. And we had. At the West Coast Nationals, we had 10 of everything. So Pro 10, Formula 1, we had full heats of everything all the way through. And it was like, this is how it's supposed to be. So just getting all these folks to come back would be the trick for in October when you're out there.
So what do we have approximate head count right now, or what we're looking at for the October race? Do you guys have?
Yeah,
you have-
October, I'm sitting on, I think, 45 drivers and 80 entries at the moment, but I can count at least a dozen or two that are like, yeah, I'll sign up, and they just haven't got to it yet, or I'm waiting on family or this and that. So I think we're going to end up around 70, probably something like that, 70 and 140.
Okay.
That's what I'm hoping for. I don't really need to do 100, unless everybody wants to come. I don't have to do 100 again. I feel like I kind of got that out of the way. And it ended up being one of the biggest they've had at Finish Line, except for the World. It's like, well, I'll just take that little check box. So like, I don't want to do that again. Or have someone like you come handle the booth. Well, I can run around and handle all the issues, because being in the booth is great, but you can't really work on anything else mid-race, whether
Yeah.
it's power or the driver's or whatever it is. You're stuck, right?
Yeah.
Unless you get back. Do you have anybody backing you up so you take little breaks out there?
So yeah, Jimmy and I, we kind of ramrod it. I do probably 75% of all the announcing, and then when I get the opportunity to go get myself some tri-tip, Jimmy Dad makes the best tri-tip.
Nice.
We'll go get some tri-tip over there, and then he'll do 3 or 4 heats,
Oh,
give me a
good.
little break, and then I'll take it back over, and then he goes back to doing all the stuff he does. He has to, shake all the hands,
That
kiss all the babies, and then just
That guy is an absolute stud. So they were running when I started Finish Line. So him and his son and Joe and all them were racing, and Zach and guys, and they were all kind of out there, and just watching him operate. I didn't really realize he was doing all of that too. So once I finally put all the pieces together, I was like, Jesus, man,
yeah.
he's the man. He's doing it all, from the shop, the concrete, the dirt oval, and then all these giveaways, just nonstop giving. And he's
Yeah.
the man. And I watched your guys' podcast here. He's a stud. I'm a big fan
Yeah.
of Jimmy Johnson, that's for sure.
We'll get him back in here. Right now, he's been on summer duties and baseball duties. I've had a lot of big car stuff going on, so we kind of knew this was going to happen during our racing, the big car season.
Yep.
But now that's, like I said, starting to taper down, we're going to get him. He's going to get in here more. We're going to do the What's Cracking podcast.
Nice.
Get
Heck
that
yeah,
get
what's
that back
down
going.
there? Yep.
Because I mean, as many people as this reaches out for the big car racing, just as many, if not more, eyes are on it from the RC world.
Oh yeah.
There's just so many more people that can go RC racing, or you can get your kid out there and go check it out. That's the cool thing about RC racing is, because my wife kind of gives me crap all the time. She's like, man, why do you put so much time and effort into that? And I was like, well, first off, that's how I got my announcing start.
Yep.
So Jimmy bought the track, whatever it was, 10, 12 years ago, and he started. He was the one that was doing it all. He was doing the announcing, the track prep. I would help him on track prep because I could help him there. And then when he was doing it all, and it's a funny story because I tell him all the time, and I tell the same thing to everyone. It's like I told him I was like, dude, you suck.
Oh, that's all right.
Basically, I was like, dude, you're terrible.
Yeah.
You're terrible. We need to figure this out. He's like, I know, but what am I supposed to? What are we gonna do? He's all that. You do it. And that started that. And I was terrible in the beginning. It's just repetition.
So you weren't looking to do it? You just
Not at
little criticism got you a job?
Yeah,
Nice. That's how it works. Yeah, you can do it better.
And like
Okay.
a lot of people know, they've heard this. Jimmy's he's one of my best friends. He was the best man at my wedding.
Oh, okay.
So
There we
like we're pretty
go.
close.
As tight as you can get right there. The best man at the wedding. Yeah, you don't mess around with that.
So like that's kind of how the announcing stuff started. So he's coming back. He just got back in. I think this morning he just got back in from I think they were in Cary, North Carolina, or somewhere. His son was in the USA thing. Great job, Josh. They won the
How'd they do?
16U.
No
They
kidding.
won the whole thing.
I got a couple buddies that their boys travel around the country doing that stuff. That's hard. They're not messing around. Every kid is legit. They can all ball. Yeah, that's amazing. Well, congratulations, Johnson. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's kind of the Jimmy Johnson thing. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
we were doing a finish line race last year or something. We went out and checked out Bakersfield, and I was like, the fifth scale track over here, like a rally thing. Yeah, burgers and barbecues going on. Every music playing. Everybody just having an absolute blast. It just looked like a ton of fun. I saw you out there, I think, and that just looked like a great place to race. We don't do a lot of oval. We can only have so many cars in our gig. We have one. There's one in Fresno, just north of me, called Flight Path that does pretty well. Same thing. They'll get 100 entries, and there's a drop of a hat because there's so many oval races out there, and slashes and sprint cars and low seat sprint, right? Those are pretty big, right?
So that's one thing that has yet to take off, but man, they look so cool.
They do.
Yeah, we had, I think, one of our last races of the year, or last races on the dirt oval. It was we're like, we'll get a couple out there. We probably had half dozen show up. Man, they look cool.
They do. They look like, if you're going to enter and get a sprint car to start. When I was a kid, when I was about 14 at Cycle Art, I was working there, and we had a nice dirt oval, big driver stand, and then a nice off-road on the other side, right at Clinton and 99 in Fresno. And we had everyone would make their own cages, their own wired. I think it was B&R sprint cars or something. But anyway, everything was like custom made. That's the only way you could do it. And they were so damn fast, and it was so competitive and so much fun. It was like going to King's and watching the boys on King Speedway.
Yep.
And that was as realistic as I thought racing would be watching that. So that's why I think guys dig oval too. It's what you see on TV, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're a Formula One fan, you don't see a lot of road racing, or you watch IMSA or something like that, So that's why kind of we all dig it. At least me and my buddies, we're all IMSA fans, Formula One fans. So this kind of caters to that. But I got to tell you, I grew up doing off-road, and it was 10 scale off-road. We ran the Nationals in Visalia in, I don't know, 91 or 2. And then down here in Bakersfield, Racers Haven hosted the Nationals there, and we ran that on their little roval with a road course in the middle of the oval and 500 entries or whatever. Like, this is as big as it gets.
Yeah.
That was an absolute blast as a kid. And so that's where I kind of got hooked on it. But you turn 16, life happens. You can't afford toy cars when you're just trying to survive, right? And I always thought, well, I'll just have to wait till I'm retired because I can't afford to RC race. It'll just never happen. And then I went sim racing. So this will take us off on a little tangent here. But sim racing, I don't know if you're familiar with it. We started in 2003, but you're racing on your computer. And it's all PC. And it's a NASCAR game. It was called NASCAR Race in 2003 season. And we could completely customize it. The tracks, the billboards, put our faces on. Like, we could do the cars and whatever we wanted. And so that became kind of my thing. I could stay at home. I could manage this whole league and all these races, create the website, and created a business. And it did very well for 13 years. And then I sold it off to a buddy of mine because my kids were older. And you'll find out, I'm trying to do a driver's meeting for all these guys or whatever. And we got to eat, or, there's just stuff you got to do in the real world. So I gave it up, sold it. And we started endurance sim racing, which is a whole other animal. So within the game of iRacing, we have team races like 24-hour Le Mans, 24 hours Daytona. You log that car in, 4, 5, 6 of you, keep that thing running for 24 hours and win the 24 hours Daytona. And we've been doing that for like 15 years.
Wow.
And the satisfaction, we finally, one of our cars won Daytona in a few years ago, finally, after 8 tries or whatever. It's just, it's the most difficult thing to do in the world.
Is that once a year?
Each race is once a year. So they have every month there's a different one. So you'll do 24 hours of Daytona, 10 hours of Sebring, 24 hours of Spa, Francorchamps, Nürburgring. Nürburgring's one we do for 24 hours, and half of it's in the dark, in the rain, in Nürburgring with 170 corners, and it's like the most challenging thing in the world. And the races are 24 hours. So my point on the RC being like 5 minutes, and everybody, you don't buckle. There's not a lot of pressure and stuff like that. Like, when you drop into the middle of the night in Le Mans in the lead, and the trick is you're going out for your first laps. You're leaving pit road. Everybody else has been running for 12 hours. It's like hopping in a blender. You got to go. You're going to get run over. You're going to spin in front of somebody, and it's over. Or power outage, or your AC goes out and you're sweating balls, or whatever, just things happen. A cat jumps on the keyboard, whatever, right? Stuff just goes wrong, or computer just freezes, or Windows update, or whatever. Anything you've been in real racing, so anything can go wrong. Sim racing is just like that. So that's highly addicting and crazy fun. We did that for a lot of years, and I still do. But I kind of branched off into RC in 2023 because we stumbled onto the track in Fresno. My old buddy Jimmy Bishop, the captain, I raced with him when I was a kid, and he was still out there doing it. And I walked up and I saw the technology and the batteries and the motors, and I was like, honey, she goes, you need, after, I'll go back to a quote that I'll always use against her is, I'd sim race. We did 10 races a week, 7 nights a week. We had administrators running it, and it's just a nonstop business. And she'd just go, you probably need a hobby that's outside. Oh, I found one. So I'm going to be gone Saturday and Sunday every weekend for the rest of my life. Sorry, sweetheart. But I did find one, and it's the same thing. It's the same camaraderie with the guys. You're best friends until, all right, 2 laps to go, and the guy wrongs you or whatever, you're going to have a little animosity. But leading up to that, you're all best buddies. You're helping each other out. You're trading parts. You're doing everything. And it's unlike any other thing I've witnessed. You go to sporting events or golf or whatever, everybody's kind of sectioned off, but it's just one big fun community. And it was like that when I was a kid, all these older dudes helping us out when we were kids, and now I'm the old guy helping out all the kids, so we give it back. So
yeah, it's full circle.
Absolutely love it. Like you said, motorsports is the same. It is. It just depends on how much you got and how big, as James Hunt would say, big balls get you to the finish line if you got them, So anyway, rambling.
No, that's great. That's great. So that got you to 2023. So
yes,
is that you raced just raced for about a year or so, and then you jumped into the announcing, or was it kind of
Oh
just all
yeah,
at the same
it
time?
was as soon as I started racing, as soon as there was a mic, let me just start talking. So in Fresno at the races, we have SenCal Speedway in Fresno,
Okay.
which is a much larger on-road course, and they run nitro a lot more there. They're on some hard times right now. They're closed for the summer, but they're going to open up in September and October. But that place is kind of where I started announcing with Eric Vasutin, who runs that track in NorCal Hobbies. And it was just like I was a kid. So when I was 13, 14, working at the hobby shop, my voice cracking and all that, trying to announce, right? And announcing all my buddies. And I just loved it. I just wanted, I don't know, hear myself talk. I don't know, but I just absolutely loved it. So that's kind of what I thought I was going to go to school for, broadcasting and minor in journalism.
Yeah.
And then while I was getting going at City College, getting ready to go to state, I got a job in a veterinary lab somehow on a whim, and I stuck with it. So I'm at like 27 years working at a veterinary lab for UC Davis, and like my dreams of Sports Center and doing all that stuff kind of disappeared until I got back to the track, and I was like, I love it when it's a good race. Like I'll go to all the trouble all month setting up the race and the heats and all that, but that one main where like our last race, we got good videos of it of 10 cars, all competitive racing for the win. I'm
Yeah.
out the window losing my shit. Let's go. I'm a fan, right? At that point, I'm a fan. And when
Yeah.
I see exceptional talent or a great move, just highlight the hell out of it. And when somebody does something they shouldn't, they need to hear about it too. You know what I mean? So I'll create some enemies there too. But just being up there and watching racing, I love it just as much as racing itself. I just absolutely love it. So we announced sim racing. Me and my buddy are sitting on our home computer, cameras on us, and we're announcing other guys racing on their computer. And then after the race, they all go back and watch it. And then during the race, their friends and family hop on and they say, "What's up?" So anytime I can get a chance like now to talk racing, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
And you're in the home of talking of racing.
I know there's going to be no awkward silences in this one for sure.
No.
But 2023 came back and bought an X-Ray touring car. My buddy Jim said, "Go Reds, go X-Ray. You guys know what you're doing." We were going to buy some cheaper cars to get started. Just get a car and go. And we had pretty good success, except for those first couple of nights of looking for parts everywhere around the speedway. And the boys in Exeter really helped me out. Like that first day we were out there, everything goes to shit, and then they help you find parts and they help you get through it, and then you go back, and then eventually you start giving back. But that was a big part of it. But we raced as many big races as we could right off the bat, and absolutely got our asses whipped.
Yeah.
D main everywhere, but I got third in the D, or I was on the same lap as that guy, and then you just find your next level to catch.
Yeah.
And I just want to be on the lap with this guy. Well, I just want to beat this guy. I just, whatever it is, or I just don't want to be last, or I just want to finish, whatever your goal is. It could be something as easy as that. I just don't want a marshal to touch my car. It's giving up time. So we raced every big race we could from SenCal to Anaheim and Cal, and then finish line. And that was right as Finish Line was bringing on the Worlds in 2024.
Yep.
And so they had 3 big warm-up races leading up to that. So they had an Awesomatics winter race. It was, again, my first big time at Finish Line, and like winning the B main and transferring up and then having the footage and somehow stealing third in the A. It was like, I still watch that every once in a while. It happened, right? But it's like you're kind of coming of age, right? And then you're getting into expert classes where you get your ass handed to you again. And then you got to work your way up with those guys again. Because I didn't want to do sportsman long at all. I'm not a fan of, I think you should create separate classes for sportsmen rather than splitting a class that's not big enough to split. If you have
Right.
20 guys, great, split it or find that dividing line. But you always have guys on one side or the other or maybe sandbagging a little bit, or maybe should be here and there. As long as everyone understands that, that's fine. But for me, it was, I want to get to the bumper of the fastest guys and see what I can do. And
Yeah.
I'll do well around here, but I'll go down to Southern California and just get absolutely smoked. It's just the population, the competition is just that much faster. And so we wanted to keep traveling to get better. So from Sacramento to Cal to NorCal, we were hitting everything we could, ran all the races at Finish Line, and then the Worlds came. And I tell you, it was like going to play with the Dodgers right before the World Series and hanging out with them if you're a baseball fan. We got, getting in touch with the X-Ray team and being part of the team. Like that's what they do when they go to big races. Anyone who's driving their car is part of the team for that week. And they'll go have meetings after the race, what worked for you, what didn't. And as a group, they're working on springs or this or that. And you get all that information without even really trying it yourself, and then offering parts, taking feedback from us and all that kind of stuff. And that really wanted me to be a part of that team. So I worked pretty hard to become an X-ray support driver and help other X-ray drivers out locally. So if you guys have an X-ray at the track, I know that the 23 X-ray, as classic as it is the best car arguably to start sim racing with. It's one of the most durable and fastest cars you can start with, 22 or 23. They've had 3 cars since then, but I got like a 25 and a 23 there, and I would still highly recommend that someone starting out. It's a tank, but it's fast like the rest of them. So that's what the X-Ray kind of brought me in with the team mentality of we're all working together kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the championship itself of Bruno, like they ran, it was just insane. It came down to one wreck with Bruno getting into Orlowski for the title, and Bruno in the X-Ray going for his 3rd straight world championship. Orlowski got a little loose. Bruno got a piece of him, but Bruno's known for some contact, so everybody jumps on the bandwagon there. But he wins the championship, champagne spraying all over. Like we're part of the whole thing, and I think we X-Ray took 2nd in stock as well because there was just 2 classes running. That's it, mod and stock, and that's it. And as far as the job, that could not be said enough what Finish Line did to run those worlds. Not only, like I said, the infrastructure, they had to restructure the place, add another loop. We've got bleachers. We've got all the extra pit tables, the canopies, like just a laundry list, the scoring tower, the driver stand was redone, like the signage. It was just beautiful. And we had 160 of us total, everyone just running one class. And it was just the best time of my life, where we were in Exeter for a few days before that with all of them cramped. Little Exeter is like a little track out in the field, and we got kind of this makeshift canopy, and you got I have a picture of them over my shoulder, and you've got like 9 world championships right there behind me, and they're doing almost 8-something second laps around our little track, and zip, zip, and it was just amazing to watch. And then you see that unfold at the Worlds itself, where they take that information and they go unload it on everybody at the Worlds, and they're all the fastest drivers on the planet. I don't care what discipline you're in. The breakneck speed that those guys run, nose bumper to bumper for the entire time, is something like I've never seen before. And that's just not the top. That's even the guys in the back. Like you got to haul ass just to race for last at a world championship like that. And then the scrutiny you go through with tech. We all use the same tire warmers, so we have tire warmers out there that we use like Formula One does. You put cups on there and heat them up. So we all use the same tire warmers, the same sauce. Your car is completely ripped apart, taken through tech, and then everything back for you to reassemble your motors and all that good stuff. Kind of like nationals, I would assume. But they were even checking battery temperature. So if you're over 90 degrees and you couldn't run, like it wasn't like you could go burn it off or anything. We saw pros miss their heat just because they're 91 degrees instead of 90. It's just like, oh my God.
Wow.
It's a lot of pressure, right?
Yeah.
To get it on the track. We're like throwing them in the ice chest just to make sure, right? But that kills. We needed the heat for our punch, in stock. But watching that unfold and watching how those guys operate really gave me another understanding. Like, I'm at fantasy camp. I'm with the big dogs here. And so we established relationship with all those pro drivers. And so anytime, hey, what's your setup? You got like Mr. Alexander Hagberg. He's racing in anywhere in Europe. And at any time, you can send a message, hey, can you give me a little hand with this? And they'll give you a bunch of suggestions and stuff. They're all super cool. So X-Rays, huge. And for me, it all developed at those world championships. We won't mention, we weren't in the last main. But I overgeared it. I definitely overgeared it on Sunday and slowed that thing down. I didn't really realize it until I looked at the footage. I have great starts. Why is everybody catching me? Like, listen to my boy. He said, gear it to the moon and go for it. And I was like, it slowed me down just enough. But what I tend to do in those races, I'll keep rambling, is I outseed myself. I outkick the coverage. I seed really well. And then reality sets in. I kind of work my way back as those guys get a little faster, So I find myself, all right, you kind of drink the Kool-Aid. All right, I can run in the top 30 here at the couple more rounds will send you back to where you were. Because, again, we were only a year and a couple months back into this. So I would love to have another shot at it now that I have another couple years of experience under it. But so Finish Line, that was an amazing experience. We got through all of that. And then that was at the end of 24. And right after that, I decided to start helping Ryan out with the announcing. So at that
Okay.
point, I just Ryan still took care of all the tracks, and a guy named Wes was doing the announcing up there. I love Wes. He was a really good slot car guy, but he did great announcing. And so he took a break, and then I hopped in. And I've had a blast with it ever since, except the one caveat, which my buddy Steve always says, I told you so, is you can't race as
No.
much or as hard. And I still try because I still am a driver. And it's like, and I'm still getting better. It's like golf. I'm getting better. I still want to play more. But got to sacrifice a little so that the masses can have a place to race. But like I said, I'll put a little table about a little bit bigger than this up in the booth. And in between heats, toss tires real quick, but you can't really change anything. So I get Chris Smith is going to be a backup announcer for me down there. Gabriel
Okay.
Sty, there are a couple of young guys that come up and announce for me. So shout out to Chris and Gabriel. They come up and cover heats for me. But you need really a couple in a row to go mess with the car, right?
Yeah.
You can't. So what I do is I'll pick a class like Formula One or something that I'm not mod touring car. So I tried mod and announcing, and it's like, you just can't get your mind wrapped around what you're doing until about 3 minutes into it. Oh, I'm running mod, and then there's pros on the track, so you don't want to get in their way. As you're just trying to run some laps, but then after a while, you're just in the way in mod TC. So now I'm just going to announce or run a kind of a stock class and just kind of. But I got to race something.
Yeah.
It's hard to sit up there and not race when you're.
I did it for
racer,
I tried it for about 2 years, 3 years. The double duties, racing and announcing, and it just didn't work out.
No,
I did it for about 2-3 years and then sold everything.
did it? Oh, so you didn't even have this stuff?
I don't even have an MIP wrench anymore.
No kidding.
I have nothing.
Straight announcer. Well, all right. Well, you can run some laps on. No. When's the last
No.
time you grabbed the wheel?
No, I mean, every once in a while, somebody will be like, "Hey, drive this," and that. And I'm like, I don't even want.
But you don't even get you just know you're past it.
Well, it's just, I mean, now I do between last year, I think I did 140 something events.
Wow.
140 something events between the racing, college football.
It's only 52 weeks in a year, Somebody told you that? Oh my gosh. So you're going to do football on weeknights, right? And then racing on Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Basically, yeah. Basically, there's not one week I say that. There's not 7 days that I don't have something.
Okay.
I never have 7 days straight of nothing.
Wow.
We did a week-long vacation a couple of weeks ago. We were a little quiet 2 weeks ago here on John Kennedy Live. Didn't get much stuff out there, but it was because we were on vacation. I told my wife, I was like, we're gonna go to the beach. We're gonna go. We're gonna shut everything off.
Nice.
Like turn off all social media. I mean, checking it here and there. I can't. I'm guilty, and I was never ever. I'm not a social media guy.
Yeah.
But now I have to.
You got to.
Now I'm like,
It's your
yeah,
business.
This is like, I have to. So, but we turned it off. It was great. We had 5 days gone at the beach, but then come back. We came back on Friday, went back to Santa Maria on Saturday.
Yep.
So
back in the biz.
But this year I'm taking a lot off. I'm taking all the high school sports off. So no basketball, no volleyball, no football for high school. Unfortunately, sorry, East High. That's my alma mater.
So you've been calling those sports for East High?
Yeah.
Like on what radio? Or
no
online? For this?
PA.
Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Yeah. That stuff I'd like to do too. That'd be pretty cool.
In-house PA. This year I was approached by Bakersfield College, our community college here, and to do their football this year, PA announcer.
Okay.
I wasn't able to do it because it conflicts. Like there's only 5 home games, and I had 3 that conflicted with racing. So, I've got sponsor contracts, and I've got things I've got to fulfill. So that didn't happen this year, unfortunately. And my in-laws are coaches. Like my father-in-law has been coaching at BC for 40 years.
Nice.
My brother-in-law has been coaching there. That's the Alvarez kicking camps you see on the stuff. That's them. Okay. So he's been kicking for our kicking coach for 17 years, and they both played D1 ball as kickers and all that.
You're fully in. Yeah, you're fully in. You've been living a whole life.
So that part is kind of, I'm having to put it on the back burner but I'm sorry to my family and my wife and everything. It's just getting replaced with now like podcasting.
Yep.
So it's for now it's here at the house and it's at home, and it's I think it's a little easier to digest, but it's still a lot of time.
It is.
There's a lot of time and a lot of effort that goes into it, and from my wife's end and from everybody's end, it takes a lot. But I think we kind of got off on this because I stopped racing. But
that's all good.
Yeah, there's my rant.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. I'm kind of the other way around from you're going outside to back in the house. I was in and now I'm out. So yeah, kind of similar deal. But the wives are the MVPs for sure. because we would not pull any of this off without him. That's 100% right.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
So what do we got coming up next? We got the race this weekend. We've got the big show, October 24th, 25th. Has you got anything in between? So is there a couple warm-up races? Or
We
just
are. We're
club
going to be
races?
once a month. There'll be one in early September. So the first week of September, we'll have one. And then I believe we'll leave it open depending on what the other tracks do, but we'll have at least 1 or 2 more weekends where we'll do this again. I just didn't commit to it yet. I'm going to wait and see what the other tracks do, but we'll have at least 1 or 2 more sessions for people to get warmed up for the big race.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the one thing that happens with Finish Line is we don't really have that opportunity because we're all so far away to just have it open all the time to run.
Right.
So like our last race, the West Coast Nats, I advertised in December, like you guys are going to have 5 chances once a month to get ready for this. People started coming to January and saying, like, they ran in February. Like, I know the weather's not the same, but at least I got to see the track, right?
Right.
So as long as you give people enough notice, then if we don't have it right before, so be it, and that's also kind of levels the playing field when you don't have the locals able to run over and over and over and get ready, right? So it's kind of like last time we didn't open the layout until the morning of. Completely new layout that had never been run on that track before. So that's about as even as it can get, right? Nobody knows a damn thing, right? Which way to go. So that worked out pretty well. We'll also have, so it'll be one of those races a month. We also do our annual Toys for Tots event that we'll do right before Christmas, where we'll bring an unwrapped new toy, and that'll be your entry fee. So we do that every year. Ryan Doyle, who stepped aside and retired, he wants to make sure that we still continue that tradition. And I believe almost all the tracks do, whether it's a coat for kids or Toys for Tots.
Yeah.
But you should definitely do something to give back at Christmas time. We invest so much. So he's going to do that. We'll do that in December. And then we can look into what's coming in 2027. I have almost a complete announcement to make, but we are going to have a hoodie on-road series at Finish Line. Couldn't be happier to announce that. We cannot confirm the dates just yet, but there'll be 4 races, spec tires run by the hoodie series, and hopefully we'll have John out there, or myself, and 1 or 2 of us. I'll definitely be out there, but John might be in the booth. That'll be 4 times a year. And we're really excited about that because, again, Hoodie will back that with the banners and the awards. And they're doing like lengthy banners across the driver's stand. You know how they like to spray the track with Hoodie stuff. We do it right. So I've been working with Drew on that, and then we'll be releasing those dates real soon. But look for a couple early in the year, a couple late in the year. And we'll have the West Coast Nationals again, are going to be in May. That was the race we just had this May. It's going to be here before you know it. But that was my first big race of 100 drivers and 190 entries. So we'll definitely do that again. That's been going on for a few years at Finish Line. And one thing I forgot, though, is also the UF1 series. So there's a Formula One car manufacturer named ALF1. So ALF1. That's Aaron Lane Formula One. And I'm a huge fan of Aaron, right? So he's in SoCal, and he created this series, and he also manufactures a car. He worked at Associated as an engineer for like 8 years and came up with his own just chassis that's just badass.
Wow.
I'm an X-ray guy and a fan, but I really appreciate his car because I can't catch it. That's one. Yeah, him and Lee run those cars, and his dad, Mark Lane, really cool guy. So they run a series down at SoCal for F1. I'm telling you, I went down to Score Speedway in Anaheim and ran this race, went down for that. He puts down a speaker in the middle of the track while we're practicing that pumps F1 car sounds in there. And he does all this crazy qualifying and just all these different things to make it its own F1 thing. And we had 24 F1 cars out there running in a couple different classes. So I had him come up to Finish Line, and we ran F1 at our West Coast Nationals. And so from that, we're going to add Finish Line to his series. So it'll probably be like Score, BWS Speedway, and then probably Finish Line. They'll probably do 2 races at each track and have a nice little F1 series, just like what's on TV. So we got Aaron in on that, and he's part of the the Valley Championship, and it's called the UF1 Grand Prix. So you've seen that on the logo. So we're trying to give an annual Bakersfield F1 race, and so the one you're going to be at is going to be the first one.
Awesome.
That will have slightly different qualifying. It'll be a deal. He's going to do a deal where it's like your best 3 consecutive, but all of those combined. Okay. So you don't get a gimme in qualifying. It's going to be how well you did something different, and each main is going to require a pit stop. So they got to pull down pit road, got to put a sticker on there that says I pitted and take off pit road. So we're making him do 1 pit stop just like F1. So he's got a few tricks up his sleeve like that. So they'll run 5 minutes like everybody else. But the F1 cars, they're interesting because you can't really brake a lot with them. It's all about momentum and free flowing. And so they're really hard to drive in traffic. But when you get it going and everybody's on the same page, you're whipping around there just like a 21.5 stock car, and they're pretty fast.
And is that
That's the
similar
one
to
right behind you. Yeah, go
show
ahead,
here?
check that out. Yeah, so that's Formula One there.
So that's Formula One. We'll see if
Yep.
we can get a little cool little shot of that thing right there.
Yep. So that's a 25 X-Ray X1. And I can take the body off too. I don't have a Speedo in there, but these are on rubber tires at the moment. These are Exotech tires that appear to be the best. So I don't have a Speedo or a battery in there, but you can get an idea that there's not a whole lot going on in there.
So it's full pan chassis. I mean, it's
Yep.
just a carbon cut. Still has that kind of pan car style rear
Yeah,
end.
got the pod for the motor back there, single shock.
So
Not much front suspension to it at all. You'll see like the ALF1. You can look that up. Aaron Lane F1. He's got quite a different suspension up there. Exotech makes a Formula One car as well. So there's 3 or 4 more of that. I know there's more out there than that. But these are running with a 25.5 motor. Open timing. You can do whatever you want with them. We run the shorty pack. And that's basically it. A lot of places will run longer races with them, like 8-minute heats and stuff like that. Or they'll do like a 10-minute qualifier where it's best 3 laps consecutive, but you can stop and change tires or have a pit stop during that 10 minutes. So you can mess with the car. So everybody does a little something different. But I think the main thing is it's different. Guys that are F1 fans really dig it like me, and it'll definitely make you a better driver. Because me, it's a lot like running modified. It's all throttle control because that solid axle, and it's going to want to lock up under braking and under gas. So I love it. I'm a big Formula One fan, and I can't wait to race that thing. But I don't have a lot here in the valley, so I just save it for the big races.
awesome.
That's great.
Cool. And what else we got here? We got since we're on the car concept here.
Yeah, that's just your straight touring car. That's a older 23 X-Ray.
We're gonna have body pins everywhere.
Yeah, body clips for everybody.
Son's gonna be eating these suckers here in a little bit.
So again, that's carbon as well. A lot of guys are running steel, aluminum, carbon is kind of making a comeback, but
Cool little comb.
yeah,
bumper
we got
there.
the honeycomb bumper, quite nice and soft there, but that's Reds Racing, Speedo, servo motor, X-Ray. So again, that's the older one that I'm touting, the 23. I've been running that in the LMH class for the last few months with a 13.5 motor in there. And I've been running my 25 X-Ray in mod. I see we have a big LMH race coming up in Exeter called the USGT Showdown in October. And LMH is going to be a featured car there. And so these are basically, I know them as Le Mans prototypes, LMP. When they came out on the market, they called them LMHs. So that's what we're going with. But basically, you have the same touring car with a lot more downforce. In general, a little bit more understeer if you just take the bodies off and switch them. These will run at a slightly higher weight. So these will run at 1320 grams, and the touring car is moving down to 1300 on September 1st. Roar just broke out a new rule on that. Everything was at 1320, but the touring car, since everybody's on all these spring steels and aluminum, let's make them lighter.
Yep.
I like my cars heavy. I like my 1320. But anyway, LMH is not part of the rule changes. It's fairly new. So that's going to stay at 1320, but they're identical cars. Interesting thing about these, though, is if you go up north, like, say, San Jose or on carpet, they'll run these same bodies, but they'll run what are called USGT tires, and they'll run them with the 25.5 motor.
Okay.
So they'll run them a lot slower. They have smaller tracks, and they're on carpet. These I saw running down at BWS, a guy named Eric Epp, who I thank and blame for bringing these out. Eric Epp was with the One Up Racing down there, and they were running them at 13.5, damn near like the modifieds. Like, we only want to go faster in SoCal, in Central Cal. So that's what we ended up doing. Let's just go with that. Touring car tires running at the fastest stock motor we can get. And Finish Line is the perfect size track. It's just the perfect track for anything on road. It is smooth as glass. Like Formula One, they don't like bumps. As you can see, look at
Very
bing, bing, you got about a 1/4 inch of travel on your front suspension. So Finish Line is by far the best track that I've seen around here, and I've been to most of them. As far as the racing surface itself, the consistency of the grip, and the overall speed that you can get there is just unmatched. It's just really consistent. And we have plates and discs. So the discs on an on-road course is what's going to send your car all the way to the side of the track, right? So they invested a bunch of these plates that we screw down that just give you an actual surface you can ride around a lot easier on our longer corners. So we try to keep those discs out of the way. But on a couple layouts, white disc. Like it's just somebody's going to hit yard sale. You know, they're going flying into the fence every time. So we got a good thing going there with as far as like saving your parts and not destroying cars out there for the most part.
Yeah. So plates in disc. So on the carpet oval that Mayhew used to have. So these are steel plates, or are they Lexan plates? So
They're
kind of
steel
slide?
or metal.
Okay.
Yeah, steel or metal. Yeah, they're hard, and they're all angled, and then they have like a back to them. It's about an inch or two to give them that lift, and then they
Okay.
all get screwed together around a corner. Like we have what we call a big lollipop, which is a big, wide apex corner that seems to go forever when you're trying. It's just the corner I can't figure out. Everybody loves it, but I get smoked there. But that one is perfect. It just blends around. And but if you're at Finish Line on Facebook, just search on this endless amount of track pictures. You can see the layout and everything we're running, and all the videos people see of the IFMAR Worlds. That's the same layout we're going to run from now until that race. The Valley Championship race is a little different in that we're keeping the same layout until then, so everybody gets comfortable with it, and it's open tires, so you don't have to spend a bunch of money on tires. Just run what you got. So, after our last race, handful of local guys say, "Can we try this?" Oh, let's do it. We don't have to all spend 8 sets of tires for this weekend. Let's run what we got, you know.
Yeah.
But next year, like the Huddy races and West Coast Nats, those will be spec tires.
So, and the spec tire, is it available just from that manufacturer? So just from Huddy?
Yeah, so for the Huddy races, it'll be just from Huddy, and we'll sell them at the track. That'll be the only you'll get,
And you
and they'll
buy
be
that day.
stickered for that day.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can get practice sets as well. But on qualifying and race, you'll have specific stickers for that. But what's nice, it's a 4 race. I've never done a race series with spec tires, so just save them for the next race. And if and then the next race might be in 3 months, and then you'll have tires to practice with for the next race. So I think that'll help see the Huddy tire kind of influx into the area, because right now sweep racing tires are king.
Okay.
Out at Finish Line. Team Powers, everyone runs around the same compound. So we talk about compounds, right? 36 and 34. So 36 compound tires on sweep are what we ran in our spec race. That's these guys here, and that's what everybody really loves. But down south, when there's higher bite, a lot of guys like Team Powers. So they're a comparable price. So with this race I'm having, I'd like to see the difference between the two.
Yeah.
So I want to see, because we haven't really had a race where you can run both. It's either one or the other. So we want to try that out.
So is it kind of like the Hoosier American Racer thing? Shout out American Racer.
Yeah.
Gary. And is it kind of like that, where like when the two different types of rubber get on the track, it could do some funky things?
I don't know about that. That's a good question. So if you ran one all day as opposed to the other, what would it do to the track? That's a great question. I'll have to ask guys that have been doing it longer than me. I'm not sure. Maybe. But all I know is when we have a lot of drivers, regardless of the tires, grip just comes up. We just lay so much down there, and those plates will just turn black by day 2 because we've just put so much rubber down there.
Yeah.
You can imagine what's left on the track. And that's interesting about those plates too, is because once they're cleaned, that's a different racing surface, right? It's still got a little bit of the compound left on it from the cleaning. And so as we're adding grip, it adds even more grip. And that's when you see guys on it, and they'll just traction roll. Like, man, I'm traction rolling. Like, well, you're on the plate. There's 3 things that can happen right on traction roll. You got throttle, steering, and too much grip, right? If you have all 3, you're going over. You could have 2 or 3, but you can't touch that curb. And so you'll hear a lot of guys complain about traction rolling, but it's like you're hitting the curb. You might be able to save that if you don't. But by the end of the day, in general, Finish Line starts out pretty medium grip as relative as guys would call it, and then it'll be high grip towards the end of the day. And undoubtedly, every weekend race we've had, there'll be sprinkles in the middle of summer that night. And I like it because it just kind of resets the playing field. I'm okay with that curveball where everybody else is pretty fired up. But it just seems like in all of our races, that would happen, where we get those little weird Bakersfield showers in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Or during the middle of the race, and just wait them out and then get back to racing again. But again, that changes what you were going to do that day. So you just kind of start over. Not enough to wash the track clean, but just enough to change.
Just enough.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So we're always hunting grip out there, same as you are in every other racing, right? But we're always hunting steering and trying to get that grip off the corner for sure.
Absolutely. So what do we got? So we've got the racing dates covered.
Yep.
Who helps these series out?
So we talked about Pacific Coast Hobbies and ALF1, and also I'd like to give a shout out to MRKT Central. They're doing T-shirts. So this is a T-shirt. I'm gonna have to hop up and show it if you can get it on there.
Yes, sir.
My first big race T-shirt. How about that? So that was the West Coast On-Road Nationals, and Chad Costello, shout out Chad, and MRKT Central is doing the shirt. So for the next race, as guys are registering, they can order them for $25, and then they'll be ready on race day. Otherwise, they're like 30 or 33 after the fact or
Okay.
whatever. But I'm a huge sucker for race shirts. I'll go off on a little thing here. A big thing that I'm a big proponent of is what we call Race Shirt Fridays. A close buddy of mine named Ken, a sim racing buddy who helped me kind of do all this, real close friend of mine, passed away out of nowhere about a year ago, and got out of his sim rig, had a heart attack or something happened, and just passed right there. And he always wore my race shirts, any shirt, Jammin' Jimmy Ray race shirt or whatever, and we'd always send a picture on Friday, race shirt. And so when I work in a laboratory, walking around with race shirts, undoubtedly somebody's going to say,
What's
where are you racing this weekend?
Yeah.
What's going on? It's a conversation starter, right? So all of us started doing that. So construction site, tile setter, laboratory, whatever, we're all wearing race shirts on Friday. It just kind of started. So every Friday to like Ken's wife, Cheryl, happy race shirt Friday, you know, always checking in on her, stuff like that. We're a year later and we miss him incredibly. He was a hell of a guy holding our stuff together, but we always remember that, that race shirt Friday. It's kind of like Formula One, NASCAR, IMSA, and then RC, sim racing. There's 50 things every weekend to check out. You're calling half of them, right? And but we have that big conversation. So that's a big thing. I'm big. So my point is really big on race shirts. The whole closet just stacked with them. Can't get enough. So Chad came out of nowhere with this. Like, hey, do you want shirts for your show or for your races? And with my sim racing league, I bought a bunch of shirts and sold them and took a bath. Like, I don't want to do this anymore,
Yeah.
you know? And so Chad's got it all covered, and he's got regular, and also at I got to get it down, MRKT Central. He's also has just Finish Line Speedway shirts, you know? So
Okay.
we're starting to get those going out there. So they're helping out a bunch. My crew, of course, Danny Norris, we got to drop everybody's names. Jake Hall, who's in my crew base, Chris Smith, Nick Pantana out of Southern California, Scott Curley, of course. You know, I'm sure you know Scott from running out there. And don't come on now. I got to do better than that. Did I not write them down?
Oh, it's so hard. Like if I tried to get every single person that helped out, that you know.
Don Smith. All right, I got it.
Oh, you got it. Yeah. So every
I have that 6 of my core guys. We're making all the decisions, doing everything, but there's tons more. So Lurch, Bryce Merriweather, Steve Tamayo, they help me do the driver stand and all that stuff. Jason Cantrell, Kel Collimer, all those guys are there every week helping me out from everything. Of course, every driver that comes in and helps prep and do all that stuff. So they're helping out a bunch. Mama Jones Kitchen. I don't know if you're familiar with her in the area, but she's got a food truck around. And so she has started a kind of relationship with Ryan Doyle. So she comes and parks it right by the gate, breakfast, lunch, tri-tip sandwiches all day kind of thing. So we have food out there.
Oh, perfect.
And right where the track is on Merle Haggard Drive is the exit. Lencioni Avenue there's 4 hotels. Holiday Inn is right there, and we have a discounted rate for the races, obviously. For the big weekends, we'll have a discounted rate there. But the 3 other hotels across the street are about the same price. And then you have all kinds of places to eat. It's like everything you could need right there off the freeway, right at Finish Line. So all those companies around are helping us out. Of course, Finish Line Signs, David Mayhew and the family allowing us to do this. As we're sorting things out, like, you know, they'll do stickers for us, you know, and all those things because it's the sign company, you know, and working on power issues and like making sure you have enough power for all the people out there, and parking, obviously, because when we show up on a Friday race, that whole street is live at 6 a.m. All those businesses hopping, and so we flood that place. So that's always their patience with us getting in and out of there and inconveniencing their businesses. We really appreciate David and his wife and then the whole thing. And of course, Joe Sinclair. We cannot go a minute without thanking Joe, because Joe's always, as he puts it, the one working over there. And but Joe always stops and helps us out when I'm in there on a Friday trying to figure that place out. So thanks to Joe. And we are a Roar facility now. So this is a change that came in the last month. To step foot on the track or the driver's stand, you're required to have a Roar membership for insurance and liability purposes.
Yep.
That's kind of the way it should have been all along, but we haven't really enforced that over the years, but now we are. So what's cool is that Roar's come up with a couple discounts. So if you have a family member The initial membership per year is $40, right? You're
Yeah.
covered everywhere you go, right? But if you have a family member, then we're going to throw 25 for the additional family member, so you save 15 there. And if you only race once in a while, they do a pay to race membership at $5 a day. So say you came to one of our races once, it's an extra 15 bucks. You're covered from the moment you step on the property to the moment you leave. We give you the claim number, the insurance information. If you have to go to urgent care, you get hit by a car. I don't know what anything could happen, right? I don't want to say it because it'll jinx, but anything can happen, but you're covered. And that gives Mr. Mayhew peace of mind. And that's just a requirement. That's just the way it is to do business there. And so that's going to be fine with me. So and Roar has it all set up now. You create an account on their website, you get your membership, and then you can easily log back in and they show you a digital picture of your card. They don't mail them out anymore. That's old school, but you can just take a print screen and you're good to go. I'll check you, then I'm not going to bother you for another year. We're good to go. And so again, we really want to do whatever we can to make Dave happy, because if Dave ain't happy, we're not racing, right? So thank you, David. Again, I say it a million times, but again, the work that they did from the park indoor to the parking lot to that facility. And when you walk in from looking at other facilities, just the way it's isolated, there's no dirt. It's got the green AstroTurf all the way around. You're not tracking any dirt on your stuff. It almost feels like you're indoors when you're outside.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. And we're going to keep it that way. So, I can't think of who else is in on it now. It'll come to me, but I think that might be it. Sponsors, we're just hooking up per race when they, like we had 12 of them last time. I didn't go nuts on sponsors on this next one. We just wanted to run a simple race. Let me back that up. The Valley Championships, I'm starting because I wanted to do something that rotates between tracks. And we did Exeter last year and we got rained out. So we ran it the following weekend with about half the attendance we would have, I think. So my plan would be whatever track was available, either Fresno or Finish Line, run that one next. So now Finish Line's available. So we're going to run it in the fall.
Perfect.
And if Fresno's running in next year, then maybe we'll run it there. And not, at first I was going to do a point series between the places, but that's obviously difficult. So once a year is fine with the same basic format, the AAA mains like we talked about. And I declare, like, you're a Valley champ. Like every time I see Slick Barnett, what's up, champ? Valley champ, front-wheel drive, and that's his title, and that's it. So Kim in 17.5, Kim Melgar in 17.5, Slick Barnett in front-wheel drive, and Raul Palomino in 21.5. And I even made it to where you had to have at least 8 cars in the class to be a champ. If you didn't have that many, then it was an exhibition, and I ran modified, and we didn't have enough. Not the champ.
Yeah.
That's how I made my own rules, right? I got to eat it. So I like things like that. I like tradition. I like point series. I like keeping guys motivated to compete. And I think that one's going to go off pretty well. And then maybe it'll go next year back to Exeter or Finish Line or somewhere in the Valley. But the whole thing is emphasis on the Valley.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the racers are in SoCal. A lot of the racers are in NorCal. But there's plenty of racers here in the Valley, as you've seen, every Saturday night out there. And we're trying to get more of them to come out to the on-road side. So that's the plan with Valley On-Road Championships.
Have we touched on base? I know you. I will say you are the most prepared person that's ever come in here.
Appreciate that.
By far. I mean, you've came with some cliff notes. So, I mean, I had Scott Pounds in here. We had our kind of another venture I'm going down is the Bakersfield Racing Legends.
Okay.
This thing. So having
a Hall of Fame kind of thing?
Kind of like a Hall of Fame thing. Had a couple of guys hit me up and were like, "Hey man, you're doing some cool stuff over there. Let's see if we can try this."
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's do it. So I called Scott Pounds. He was like the OG of OG at the Bakersfield Speedway. He's probably, I'm very certain I could say this with confidence that he has the most main event victories there.
Okay.
He's got 170 on paper that his mom has written out.
It's more than that.
So it's got to be close to 200 probably. And so we had him in here. We were talking for 4 hours. We got a good little thing. We're cutting it up in parts so we can digest that a little easier. But yeah, that's a cool thing that we had with Scott. And I don't even know what got me on that, but
talking about being prepared, I think.
Oh, being prepared. Yes, he gave me a tote of all of his championship stuff. I've got banners and totes and articles and like I said that notebook that had all that information in it. He had some bullet points of what we wanted to cover, but I mean, it was just a natural conversation.
Yeah.
It just kind of flowed through there. So, but really appreciate, like, you haven't, your shit together.
I
there.
I do, and that might be my own detriment. I'm a laboratory supervisor, so we're in a laboratory, and things have to be a certain way. SOPs are followed, and all that good stuff. So, yeah, Ryan said the same thing out there. I'll do entry lists for club races. You know, like right now, if you're going to race on Sunday, fill out the entry list, because if when you have small group of guys, you don't know if 17.5s run, 21.5 run, mod run. I don't know what motor to put in my car, and I don't want them to have any surprises. So by Saturday night, you have a pretty good idea, even on a random club race, what's going on at finish line tomorrow, so you can make it, right?
Yeah.
And you're not obligated to come. You don't got to pay in advance or anything like that. But all those, as I took this on, I looked at all the things that are missing, right, in RC in our area. It took me a while to grasp that everything's on Facebook. Like, there's no website. You have the nicest website. No one has websites. They don't, right? Some Instagram, but it's a Facebook world. Like our text groups, our announcements, everything is an image. It's just I've gotten used to that because
Yeah.
we've always been our sim racing world is all website. It's all everything's on the website, standings, results, schedules, like where you connect to the server, like it's all there, the download. So there's no Facebook on. Like it's funny because I try and combine the worlds. Hey guys, check this out. I don't do Facebook.
Yeah.
And like, well, all right, you ain't gonna see anything. And but it's interesting how the entire RC world's on Facebook. So I thought, what was missing? Okay, so the first thing I did is made the website. It's jimmyrayrc.com. Only an a-hole uses his name in his website, right? That's what I'm saying. But only use your whole name in your website and your Jimmy Ray shirts and all that.
Well, I just went in John Candy. Well, there's more people in this world. Even before I started this, I guarantee nobody knew my. Well, I can't say nobody.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that didn't even know my name was John.
Oh, really?
Just
Just Candy?
Candy.
Just Candy. Okay, that makes sense.
My last name's Candelaria.
That is all coming together now because
Yes.
there isn't a lot of last name Candies out there. Okay, so Candelaria is John Candy Live. And then
Yeah.
you throw the live on there, make sure that's always emphasized so somebody doesn't think it's an actor from
Exactly.
the 80s who was hilarious.
Exactly. So I
And,
mean, we had a couple of different plays on different things.
Yeah.
I was just when I started the broadcasting thing and this whole thing, I was like, I gotta kind of use my name because I've kind of I don't know about well known because I don't know about I'm gonna say well known and really truly mean it, but being at Bakersfield Speedway for so long, I was there for seven years at the old location, 1 year at the new location, and so I was like, I gotta use Candy somehow.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
John Candy Live it was.
That's great. And the sim racing world, I'm Jim Ray. No Jimmy at all. I was Jimmy when I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
And so my first night out at Exeter racing, there's 4 guys named Jim. I was like, well, just call me Jimmy. And then Eddie, who I raced with, my buddy, I can't believe I said his name, Ed Woolley. So he and I did this in 5th grade. This is where it all started. And he and I got back together with my buddy, Jim Bishop. Can't believe I left that out. So Ed Woolley's been my partner in crime all this. He's up in Fresno. But it was kind of, dang it, where was I?
Jim.
Yes. So at there, I go, well, let's just go with Jimmy, and I'll go from there. And then the results were in there. And then I'm like on Facebook. Like I have some coworker stuff, some family stuff, but really nothing.
Yeah.
So I just wiped it clean. And so we're just going to be Jimmy Ray. And then I saw a bunch of people using RC on there. So it kind of flows because people always thought Ray was my middle name growing. Jimmy Ray what? Jimmy Ray, like, no, that's my last name. So it's, don't trust a man with 2 first names and all that good stuff. But so then I just said, let's just Jimmy. And it kind of created its own thing. So now when I go back and sim race and do that announcing, he can't call me Jimmy. He's like, you're Jim. That's just all right. I'm like, I don't care. Just, you know what I mean? But it's just funny how it kind of works that way. People get attached to a name. But then I did the website, and the first thing I did was I did a searchable little database of all the local tracks within like 9 hours of me, from Vegas to Sacramento, and it's still on there. And you could search the city, the track, what they do, and I was like, all right, that's all right. So we got that. Like I couldn't find anything. So from there, you can go to each one of their Facebook pages, right? So the Dirt, Paris, your Bakersfield, all of it. So it's like, all right, that's a good place to get started. Then I started making a schedule of all the local tracks, and I put that up so people would know. And then I'm like, next thing you know, here we go again. All right, so we're just creating the next thing. So now what I'm doing is I just create one web page for each event.
Okay.
And so it'll be like, you'll see to sign up for the race, it's jimmyrayrc.com/ I think it's 26 Valley Champs or something like that. And I'll just do a new page. I have one just for finish line, which is / just finish line. and that has our general rules and prices. But in general, I'll do one for each event, and that'll have your entry list, your rules, hotel accommodations, anything you need to know, little videos, little previews, and stuff like that. And I'll link that on Facebook all the time. But I still like the web page because it's a static single location you can go to rather than hunting for an image on Facebook. But I'm not a dummy. It takes Facebook to get folks, right? So we're posting something after every club race and every week, and we'll do a summary. We raced here and that, and then getting access to the Finish Line Facebook page. So then I don't know if you have your own, and you have a John Candy one, and you got to make sure you post from the right one at the right time, and all that kind of stuff, right? So juggling that, it's working out pretty well though. I've kind of grasped how I just wasn't on Facebook a whole lot. We were all, like I said, we're all website based, but now I finally got it kind of figured out. We have a little Finish Line group where I give them information that I don't really want to blast, and then, or stuff we just want to blast to everyone. It's working out really well. Like, they're really responsive. Like, all the guys, they want everything to succeed too. Everybody's on the same page.
Absolutely.
And back to the 6 guys I was talking about, right, or 8 guys that are helping me. Like I've always said in my sim racing, my name's on the letterhead. There's a bunch of people behind the scenes doing a bunch of stuff that you'll never see, that we would never do this without. And it could be a different person every time.
Yeah.
But it's just, you can't do any sort of organizer or anything without it. And so I thank them profusely, and probably too much. But it's like, I don't like sidebar, Greg Biffle, NASCAR driver.
Yep.
My boat don't run on thank yous or whatever, you know what I mean? So how do you reward them? You give them a great place to race. You be consistent. You show up when you're supposed to show up. Like, hell or high water, if I don't feel well, I'm still going to be there. Like, I'm still going to be there. And I think that's why people kind of step away and retire, because they get tired of that. I have to do it. I have to do it. And I'm not going to lie, I did the same thing with sim racing. And this may happen with this too. And I'm sure it will. If I give it all I got for so many years, I'm going to sell all my crap and start announcing too, right? I'm just going to follow in your footsteps, big guy. It sounds like a good plan. But it's just, again, it's so much fun. It's a good community. I'm very lucky and honored to take it on. And like, for those who don't know Finish Line, they started before I got back into this. I didn't know it existed, but Mayhew and Doyle got together and built that track out there. They 50-50'd everything. They worked together on everything, and it started at just a place for club races. I got pictures of like the first race where it's just a slab of asphalt and a couple pit tables, and here we go. And then now where we are, and again, it's like, I can't even express how much work and time and effort they had to put into that. And then I imagine how hard it is, like, when it's over for a little bit, right? You're like, man, I put a lot into that. Like, I'm glad it's done, but part of me is like, that's pretty tough. So I wanted to keep it as beautiful and as flowing as possible, with all the same traditions and stuff that they did, and just carry the torch to the next guy, right? And I also realized that I don't have to do everything.
Right.
Like, I don't have to.
That's the hard part.
It is. Like, just the idea of having you come in to announce, or another announcer come in, up until doing that big race, I felt like I got to do it. All right, I got to do it. Like, you really don't at all. And there's plenty of competent people to help, that want to help, and you let them. The next thing you know, you're not all burnt out, and you can last a little longer. So that's the lessons I'm learning in all this thing. But as far as Finish Line, they did. It was a joint venture by those two and their families, obviously. Like, Doyle and David would both have their families down there all the time, working tech and doing that stuff. And my daughter came and worked with me for a couple races, but I don't think I paid enough. And she turned 12, 13. We got our nice little Euro truck with a big pink flower, has her name on the side. Never raced it. It's sitting in the garage. It's beautiful. I ran a couple hot laps with him. I'm like, this is fun, Charlie. But no, it's too long of a commitment for the day for the young kids. But if I lived nearby, she'd come out and help out for a little bit. But you got to have family. You got to have all those things involved.
Yeah, it's very important. Family is like the number one thing at our dirt track. It's like, but it feels like everyone's, family there.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's the same way at Finish Line.
Oh yeah.
So, because I mean, that's the number one thing that when people leave there, they're like, man, we just had so much fun. It's like we're at a barbecue.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we're literally just at a barbecue, and there's RC cars there.
Yep.
So, I want to touch on a couple of things too, that talking about like family kind of thing. I got this race that I'm going to do at Cherry Acres.
Yeah.
So Cherry Acres is Roger Holder. He owns Holder's Heating and Air Conditioning here in town.
Okay.
He's got a property out west. He's got a house on, and he's like let's put a freaking dirt oval back there.
No kidding.
So I built a little backyard track,
Nice.
and that was probably about 3-4 months ago. And then now they've ramped it up. So
Just
now,
like that.
just like that, he's like, okay, we're gonna put in the seat train with the driver stand on top.
Okay.
Brought in new dirt 2-3 weeks ago, so now they've got fresh, good, clean dirt.
Heck yeah.
It's got billboards all the way around it. He's got banners up. He's got lights already. He's working on more power. So if you're planning on coming to that race, it's September 11th. It's going to be on a Friday night, racing at 7 o'clock. Get a hold of Justin Toohey for all the information of the address and classes. We're still kind of just throwing it out there. If there's 3 in that class, bring it. We're going to run it. 'Cause
Okay.
It's a
Yeah, that's how
backyard.
you grow it.
It's a backyard fun thing.
Absolutely.
And I don't know what it's going to turn into or what it may or may not do, but we're going to for sure do it September 11th.
That's the first one.
Because Brylan came in and did a podcast with me, and he's a great guy. That's a great guy, great family, and they've been around Bakersfield Speedway for a long time. Brylan's doing crazy stuff with pro mod racing, drag racing. So, and Roger's been in drag racing forever as well. So, just a racing family and a great family. That was like, let's do a race. Let's run an actual,
Heck yeah.
legit, real race in your backyard track.
You bringing the whole crew? Bringing
Bringing-
the whole deal?
Doing the whole
Oh
thing.
yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that. You gonna be broadcasting live?
Broadcasting
All right.
live, the whole shebang. So
where
we're going
can
to do that.
Where can fans see it live?
John Candy Live. Just
That's it, right
the
there.
YouTube page. The
Okay.
YouTube page is the best place to see all the stuff. There's some things that go on Facebook that doesn't go on YouTube. I'm trying to really push the YouTube thing just because I think that's going to be the number one spot to be able to get as much content as I'm putting out.
Yep.
So this thing's not even a year old yet.
Yep.
And we have about close to 600 videos on YouTube. That's just on the video side. The live side, we've got another probably 40, 50 lives. And all the live shows are at least four to the RC stuff is 8-hour plus
Yep.
streams. So that stuff's all on there.
Yeah, it's easier to find on YouTube.
Yeah.
It just doesn't, for me, it doesn't get the initial hits like a Facebook
It
would,
does not.
right? Facebook's going to get you 500 that night. YouTube's going to get you 500 that week. Right?
Yes.
It's going to build slowly. And I've noticed that, and I'm not too familiar with what you do in the descriptions and all the algorithms there to get more hits. My buddies do. But I agree. I put them on both and I'll watch. And it's like that goes up and then it peaks. And then this is just going to keep climbing over time. So yeah.
Yeah, so I've got that one Cherry Acres on September 11th. I've got the Dirt Oval Fall Shootout at Hot Rod Hobbies.
Yeah.
So the world famous Hot Rod Hobbies, that's September 26th. So with Jimmy Babcock and those guys,
Yeah.
we're going to see them down there. It's just a one-day show, so Saturday show. We'll be there September 26th. Same thing. I did their was it spring shootout earlier this year.
Yeah.
Great show. I think we had about 80 something entries down there. It's kind of it's a sealed, different type of track than it is at Bakersfield, but
Like
it
glue,
travels well.
right?
Yes.
It's almost like concrete, but it's dirt,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah. So that's happening at Hot Rod Hobby September 26th. Make sure, same thing that he's got pre-register, so you can go down there.
Nice.
He's got the flyer, pre-register, get a hold of them. And then the last RC thing is with you guys October 25th. So that's going to be like the big John Candy Live. You catch all 3 of those shows every single minute, every single
Yeah.
lap. And if you have any sponsors that want to come on that broadcast, shoot the stuff over, have your sponsors shoot their stuff over. We'll get their
Oh, wow.
graphic and everything on there. And if anybody's watching, you guys want to get on that broadcast,
Yeah.
get hold of myself or get hold of Jimmy, and we'll work something out. We get you on the broadcast because it's there's a lot of eyes that see it.
Yeah, we ought to do that.
Nice.
Yeah, we didn't add a lot of sponsors for this one, but we definitely could add some. I don't see why not. Yeah, I could handle all the. We had a dozen of them at the last race. I'm sure they'd be willing to hop on. So yeah, maybe we can have some conversations about that. Why not?
Perfect.
Good, but more exposure is better for everybody.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah.
Absolutely. That's the kind of the world that this thing is developing into. Is like I've learned a lot in like this year.
Oh yeah.
So in the beginning, I was just like, man, I want to do it. So I got the stuff and I started doing it. It's like, man, I'm terrible at this.
I'm sorry.
So then we just developed into getting better and just starting to learn how the business side of it works a little bit better as well. So you have to, I've learned you can't do it for free,
That's right. You got to learn a couple lessons the hard way.
because if I'm trying to do it for free, I'm not going to do it for very long. So, I mean,
I'm-
it's just logistically, that's just how it works. And it just takes sponsors. It takes good people. It takes, we've got a lot of great people that jumped on board.
Yeah.
I've had my solid ones that start from the beginning. San Joaquin Tires. I've had Skinny's Automotive. I've had Alvarez Kicking Camps. Those are the big 3. I had
Yep.
Mather Brothers Incorporated. But now we got, American Tires, Quick Change Liquid Energy. A lot of people that help out and get into this thing. And it takes a lot. So don't be shy. We are absolutely accepting registration for sponsors.
That's a good point. We were talking about the same thing at Finish Line. When I started there, they used to have quite a few sponsors in the area that weren't RC. So Charlie's Automotive or whatever it was, right? So trying to get some of those guys back, or if you want to put a banner on the track, tons of racers and people are going to see it, or you're going to be seen in a broadcast. Yeah, let's open up the doors for that, especially at Finish Line. We could definitely use some sponsors outside of the normal RC realm. It doesn't have to be MIP. And whatever it is, you know what I mean? It could be it could be anything. So Armor All, let's go. Anybody out there. That'd be great.
And I want to do shout out to Randy Rains. He's got his big dirt oval race coming up, Rain Man's Hobby and Raceway. I believe that is the 20th through the 23rd or something.
Yeah, that's this weekend.
This weekend.
That's this weekend. Yeah, we are piggybacking that because we're making up for a heat advisory we had to cancel. So we're not expecting to draw anything from that, but I love that place. My first time at Rain Man's was actually like a month ago. Picked up an off-road car, so let me go check it out on a random Saturday.
Yep.
And I was in love with it because I don't know if you back in the day at Visalia had 0 N4 hobbies, and that was right by the bowling alley in Visalia. And that was indoor, about 3.5 feet of clay. And it was like from being outdoor in cycle art to an indoor facility that was made for this. So going down to Rain Man's on a hot day, he's got the swamp cooler in there. He's got the misters, the pits. Right when I walked in, 5 guys like, hey, let me give you whatever you need. You're ready to run over 40s with us. Well, what do you mean? You know what I mean? And just the gray hair kind of gets that for you. And, but they were super nice. Like everybody was awesome, and I really loved it. And it's just other than the distance, right? Getting down there after work or whatever.
Yeah.
And we went down there that same weekend. We went out to Bakersfield RC to look. We went to Randy's and watched I think a couple of years ago they had an oval race like this. And to tear that thing up and put in a phenomenal, like the oval is smooth as glass. Like they don't mess around, and the pits are just overflowing. People outside, trailers everywhere. Like this is what I remember as a kid. That place is awesome. So
so Randy sets a number and it's a sold out show. So that's how he
quickly.
does it. So
like he's doing like 300, 400 something.
I think it's 290 or that's his number. It's scary.
So you bring 3-4 classes because you're going to be there a while, and then you go back to back. And that's how it works whenever I go out of town. I'm like, all right, I'm going to run 2 cars, but I'm going to be heat 27 and 29. All right, that seems good.
Race, turn marshal race.
You roll the dice, you take what you get, right? One little thing that's different this I wanted to bring up was the little FSB racing hat. I forgot to mention that. I don't know if you want to do it a little separate, but basically earlier I was talking about the online racing leagues, and the one I made was the hat here, FSB Racing. That's Fresno to Shell Beach. And that was the sim racing league that I started. And my buddy Sam Young is the one who got it for me. He runs it now. And he's the one who invited us back to come do the announcing. Now that we're gone and we're removed of it for many years, my buddy Milt Minner Jr. Is my broadcast partner. And so we hop in and we do those every Wednesday night like clockwork. At 6:30, he cranks up the music and we just go. It's Bristol or Darlington or whatever. And they're running the Craftsman Truck Series is what we're basically announcing. So, but FSB is real important. That's the only thing that was around longer than my wife, right? So, you know what I mean? Like that thing was around for like 23 years. And so that usually trumped everything. I didn't mention the name earlier, but it's funny because the name came from simply, I don't know where I was. I needed a name right then, right? I needed a name. My buddy was going to Shell Beach. I'm in Fresno. I looked up FSB, First Savings Bank, and some Croatian go-kart team was FSB, right? All right, we'll take it. Sold. And then from there, it just took off. And it became what is known as the most sportsmanship-based online racing you can have. I didn't really give a shit or care too much about ultimate competition and the fastest guys. You're just not allowed to disrespect anybody in any way.
Yeah.
RC and sim racing are completely different in that you and I are face to face right now. I nail you. I talk trash. I got to see you. Keyboard heroes are online in the Netherlands and in Mexico and in Texas. And so there's just not that accountability at all. So you have to have your mic muted. If you, you're racing and somebody wrongs you, right? Your natural reaction on the freeway, cut me off. Well, that goes off on the mic. You get one warning. If it happens again, you're gone. Here's your money back. We'll see you. And it was no nonsense, no tolerance. And at first, that was really hard to keep people. We became by far the biggest and most successful in that game, NASCAR 2003 ever. I'd have 120 guys paying a membership fee. Like this thing is killing it because of that.
Yeah.
Because you have so many drivers that you can afford to lose the guy that's just a jerk, right?
Yeah.
So we always had a saying where You can kind of drive like an a-hole. You can kind of be an a-hole, but you can't do both, right? You can have, don't talk to that guy, but he's a great driver. He drives fine. Or, he's a little out of control, but he's a nice guy,
He's
right?
pays
But if he's
membership.
both, got to go, you know? So we did that a lot. We did a ton of charity events, like somebody's house would burn down. Let's have a charity race. Thousands of dollars show up, you know, and that's another thing RC racing we do as well. When there's a reason for charity, like
Yeah.
I'll finish up the FSB thing. So yeah, so it's still called the FSB Racing League. It's fsbracing.com. I don't know how you're gonna edit all that back in. But Sam Young runs it. He does a fantastic job, and they just carried on the tradition as I left it. And handing it off to him was one of the best things I ever did because I got that sense of relief. I'm finally out. Helped him out for a couple of years, and he's got 10 years of doing it now, and it's really successful and it's doing well. So I'm super proud of that. That's the FSB Racing League. So that's why I got that hat.
That's awesome.
But my other thing was, another one was, Finish Line late last year, we did a benefit race for Lex Tyler, who's having some health issues.
Uh-huh.
And he's a well-known on-road racer worldwide. Lex is the man. And we just started with kind of an idea. Me and Ryan Doyle and Nick Pantana, let's just go ahead and do this race and see what we can get. And with just one weekend race, it was a 2-day event where you could practice one day, race the next. We ended up raising 14 grand.
Wow.
And with just donations, the biggest raffle I had ever seen. Everybody sent everything, stacks of body, more. People walked away with more stuff than they could handle, and they just kind of gave it back, and we kept giving it away until people got it. But it was like when we saw that number, when people are coming up just to pay their entry fee, they throw an extra 100 on, extra 20. When they know it's for a good cause, it's such a generous community. And we were all just, it couldn't, it wasn't a dry eye. You just really couldn't really put it. I'm trying to put in words here, but you couldn't really put into words how generous that community is, and all racing community can be.
Yeah.
Where they're not out to get each other, and they're all for a common bond. And one of your brothers is hurting, and you have a chance to help them get therapy, help them get treatments, and without a doubt, they stepped up so fast to do that. It was just one of the most amazing things. So
That's awesome.
That went really well. We had. I think it was Mike Braun came in to announce that one. He volunteered his time, like everybody. We all volunteered our time. There was no entry, and then every nickel went to Lex. And again, that number was just staggering. And so we're all rooting for Lex, cheering for Lex. He's doing well at the moment. But the entire sim racing community, and we had pros that were racing in Europe donate. Like, well, here's entry fee for Lex, and I'd have to double check. Like, you're not coming. Like, no, just donating. But I don't know. I don't know. I got to make sure these guys come. But people came from all around. It was just really cool to see everybody get together, whether it's in the RC or sim racing community. Everybody loves each other. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Deep down, like you said, it's family, right? Somebody's hurting, you all team up together and stick up for that person. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's cool to see that. Nothing's different from track to track, from place to place. People might be different. The names might be different, but the same character of people is the same. So I'm super honored. I'm glad to be a part of it. This new little venture over there. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you're on it, and I can't wait to have you over there and check it out, because I'm gonna sit back. And I'll be chasing some problems over there, but you're going to have it. I'll have it all set up for you Saturday. I'm going to take care of qualifying, so you can just walk in and do your thing. But definitely come down one of our practice days, because I'm there once a month. Come down and size it up. I got pictures and videos, but that won't do it justice. You need to take a look, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then we're going to put some pictures and videos. We'll put them in this whole podcast. So, some track stuff, some car stuff, maybe some couple extra B-roll videos. We'll throw them in there. We'll just, so people can get an actual visual and just on the podcast as well. So
excellent, cool. All right, okay.
So before we cut out of here, we've got a couple more people to thank. I know one of the main guys right there is Ryan Doyle.
I do, and Ryan Doyle deserves a huge tribute on the way out. Now, he retired after years of service to the RC community over at Finish Line and other tracks, and helping out at Hobbytown in Fresno, anywhere he can. He's one of the most helpful guys in the world. But his dedication and determination to give us that great racing experience is really appreciated. And for the last year and a half, he took me under his wing and taught me the live time software and everything that goes on at Finish Line, so that we can continue this. Because if he didn't, we'd probably close the gates on that place. So he could see it coming, set up for his predecessor, which I'm going to try and take the torch and do as good a job as he did to give you guys a fun racing community. And again, he absolutely nailed it with the West Coast Nats. Him and I, it couldn't have gone better. I know a couple guys maybe had some issues with traffic or maybe some stop and goes, but again, from 5 months before the race to we started it, to the sponsors, to the awards, to tire, like all of it, it all went perfectly well. 100 drivers, 192 entries. They left. I think almost everybody had a smile on their face, so it was a blast. And I can't thank Ryan enough for everything he did, showing me the ropes there. Along the same lines, Reds Racing, and not just the company, but Ivan and Danielle Dixon. He's the team manager for Reds Racing on road North America. Ivan and his wife Danielle, they're our biggest cheerleaders and proponents, and we're family. Whenever we go to a race, they've got food for us, or she's taking care of us. She's so proud of us, and then our team meetings and our dinners and stuff. So they've always supported me in my races. And of course, Gab and Franco over at Auto Shack RC. They've been doing videos for me and taking all of our still pictures at the races, and they do a phenomenal job. They split time between the Philippines and here in the U.S., so when we have them for 6 months, we really enjoy it, and they take their RC knowledge and go back and whip everybody in the Philippines. So they're a couple of my favorite guys. So Gab and Franco, Auto Shack RC, check them out. And of course, they're bad fast now. I used to, I sold his Franco a car, and he ran that X-Ray for a while, and then now he's beefed it up with his Mugen, but I couldn't catch him if I tried. So Gab and Franco, Young, those guys are great. Tim Perez, big helper there at Bakersfield all the time promoting, and he's hella fast. Of course, David Mayhew and the family. And again, one more time, the wife and my kids. You asked for it, honey. She asked for an outdoor hobby. Here we are. We found one. But I'm back indoors here with John Candy. You'll like him. It kind of seems a lot like me. No offense. Not take it. But again, I can't thank all of you guys enough. The SoCal guys, Northern California guys. Again, it's an opportunity and an honor, and I take it seriously. And we're going to put on a good show for you guys starting Saturday and Sunday at Finish Line this weekend. We're club racing. Join us.
Awesome. Well, Jimmy Ray, man, thank you so much for coming down, man. This was a cool deal to get it out, get some more knowledge out to the people that may not be aware. We'll get some good attendance out there October 24th, 25th.
Yep.
But be there this weekend, September 20th, 21st.
22nd, 23rd.
22nd, 23rd. See, I don't even know where I'm at.
That's all right. It's going.
But yeah, come down there, come have some fun. We'll get this podcast out probably live on Wednesday morning. So, man, thank you so much for coming down, making the long trip all the way from
Visalia.
Visalia.
Not too bad. I can't work until Larry. Not too bad. It was a pleasure to meet you. Nice place you got here. I love the setup. I might be moving. Let the wife know. I might be moving down here. We can do dual shows from here. What do you know? I invite myself in. Here we go.
Perfect.
Once he's in, you can't get him out. I would like to close out with a couple words from the immortal Mr. Drew Ellis from X-Ray. Just race. That's all you got to do. Just race. Don't worry about classes. Don't worry about batteries, motors, track temp, grip. Just come out and race, drive your car, have some fun. Thank you.
All right. That's Jimmy Ray, John Candy. We'll see you guys on the next one.
All right.
Yo. Lights on, cameras locked, let's roll. Whoa. Racetrack kings out of control. Whoa. Speed so clean and the crowd go wild. John Candy live, we bring that style. We race, no brakes, that's right. Yeah. John Candy live, keep the finish line bright. Yeah. Fast lane.